Verstappen, well, will he dive this time? This time he gets there, he locks up and he makes contact with his old rival. Verstappen and Hamilton come together again, battling for the final place on the podium, and they're into each other to drop Max Verstappen off the road down to 5th place.
He moved under braking. I'm not even going to get into a radio fight with the other teams, Max. We'll let the stewards do their thing. It's childish on the radio. Childish.
Well, welcome everybody. We're here to recap another. I don't want to say. Should we use the term controversial at this point, or should we just say it's entertaining?
Yes, all of it. All of it.
Like it's just the drivers are like gladiators at this point, and they're all yelling, "Are you not entertained?" Because we have strategy fuck ups, we've got driver fuck ups, we've got fuck ups on fuck ups, and here to analyze the fuck ups, we've got the trio of no, I'm just kidding. The trio here. We got German Dave, Canadian Dave, and Albanian Dave. So I've adopted my name to be Dave as part of the weekend for this one. But guys, how are you?
I'm great, and we are still waiting for part 2 of your pizza video.
Whoa, I missed something on Instagram, did I?
Yeah, you did. So they got new microphones, and they were just kind of like, "Hey, can you have camera presence? Can you do like a skit of making pizza?" And I'm just like, whatever, fuck it, right? So I kind of just like it's weird, right? Like for example, I've never recorded myself making food.
Hey, if you keep doing that, honestly, you have potential to go viral because everything was on point. Like the handing of the pizza dough, your monologue, like everything was picture perfect, man.
He likes how you handle your dough.
The problem is I don't have a cute face and big titties. That's the problem with me going viral. I am not attractive enough for that. So they'll just be like, "Oh my god, look at this guy with a fucking neckbeard making pizza. What a loser."
Oh man, yeah. Honestly though, why not do it? Most chefs aren't the greatest looking dudes anyways, so
yeah, let's cover footy, F1, and pizza making. That's I've always wanted to do that.
Well, let's dive right into all of it then.
Now that Dash got his beer back full in force, hey, he's gorgeous again, man.
I know. I've grown 10 years since I was a little boy. Speaking of little boys, we've got plenty of those this race, right? So
too many.
I think, what do we want to do? We want to kick it off with qualifying, because qualifying, we're just gonna make fun of a certain individual driver. I mean,
first, listen, you already fucked up, Dash. Before you even start anything,
like and subscribe, and if you're listening to Spotify, follow the podcast, and if you're listening on Spotify, you want to see our beautiful Are we doing audio only on Spotify, or is the video?
No, we got the whole thing on Spotify. We're on Spotify now, guys.
Oh, damn it. Now I can't sit there and just try to coax people into YouTube. Whatever. It's on Spotify. You can see us.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. We're trying.
Watch us.
Just watch us. Just watch us. Yeah. We're making it easier for the folks that don't have YouTube Premium by putting, I believe, our footy content and our F1 content on the Spotify page. So while you're listening to absolutely nothing during your boring work day, just put us in, plug us in. We'll at least eat up an hour. I recommend, to be honest, there's only 2 times you want to listen to us if you're using us on Spotify: the hour before lunch or the hour before you clock out, because then you're going into something with a smile on your face. Bam.
Oh,
done.
Wow, Seth. Well, I mean, you're selling yourself. You won't sell yourself on Instagram slinging pizza, but yeah, clearly,
dude, I can't. I'm sorry. I just
All right, enough pizza slinging. Let's get into it, guys. There's so much to talk about today. This was a fun race. Another fun one.
Gotta sling this qualifying, huh? All right, so let's open up a little bit with the qualifying here. So this was the McLaren's qualifying race here, with Lando and Oscar finishing at the top 2. Crash Verstappen finishing 3rd. Too soon? Too soon.
It's Crashstappen, by the way. His nickname is Crashstappen.
Fair enough. And then we have a smooth operator in the 4th, Mr. Hamilton, Sir Hamilton. I kind of want to talk about him because for some reason, I don't know why. It's just he is so damn likable for some reason right now.
Thank you.
Because he's, you know what? And I hate to say this because I don't even like the guy, but he's not whining right now. He's not complaining about his necklace and earrings and all that jazz. He's just racing, and he's racing well.
Like, because, like, for example, obviously, if I was into the sport, 5 or 6 years ago, I'd probably have a different, perspective on him. But coming in as like a neutral, because I still have not found a team yet, folks. Just by the way, I've not chosen a team yet.
Just don't go to Red Bull. Everything else, I can understand.
That's fine. That's
And
fine.
nobody likes Alpine, so don't go to Alpine as well.
I should just be an Alpine fan just in spite. But yeah, I just, for some reason, I was like, because I was thinking there, I was just like listening to Lewis talk, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm crazy here, but why am I finding this guy like likable?
Because that guy is maybe the only driver that presents himself to have a soul, because he speaks up on things and he's voicing his opinion like most of the time unfiltered, like compared to others.
I hate to say this, I'm throwing up inside, but I might actually start following Ferrari next year with Hamilton there. I might actually have some vested interest in that. No, it's just, I don't know.
Dash is already moisturizing his vocal cords to give his best grazie ragazzi.
Grazie ragazzi. But we have Charles Leclerc in 6th. We'll talk about Ferrari too, because I'll save this for the end as far as like who my winners and losers are. But Ferrari finally getting their shit together. Fernando Alonso, would I say in a surprising position when it comes to qualifying? He finished
where he should be.
That is where Aston Martin should be, honestly.
They haven't been, but that's where they should be, and they are this week with Stroll right up his rear.
Yeah, Stroll and Fernando there finishing well, and then we've got Daniel Ricciardo finishing with 9th, and Yuki Tsunoda both with the Red Bull Honda RBPTs finishing out in the top 10 there.
So Tsunoda actually crashed.
By the way, Ricciardo and Tsunoda with the exact same time if you look at their 1:16.447.
But Tsunoda crashed and Ricciardo came in.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. It wasn't the same time. Sorry. I thought it was.
And then the one thing I think we're going to probably touch on here is Mr. Perez again, absolutely totaling his vehicle because it's an inside job. He wants the constructor build to be interesting. That is why he keeps yucking it up. But dude, is it somehow like, can Perez just not handle qualifying? Like, it's been consecutive at this point.
I think qualifying accentuates problems, because in qualifying you drive the car to the like literally to the limit of the car, and if you have a car that you don't trust like him, then you go over the limit, and that is where errors happen. In a race where you drive in controlled pace, trying to manage tires and manage engine temperatures and everything else, you are a little bit more in control of the car, and you have your hand more so over all the things, while qualifying you put literally everything into a single lap, and that is where you can go overboard, and that shows the mistakes or the weak points the most.
So 3 cars crashed out pretty unanimously, corner 4. It's such a tight track, but there's one segment of that track that gets quick, and you're trying to make up time because you can't really make up time in those really slow corners. Small margins maybe, but you want to get out of that slow turn and into that fast speed section and punch it through. And you saw Yuki, Charles, and Checo all yeet it in qualifying this weekend.
It is always when most mistakes on this track happen up the hill, when they that quick left-hander up the hill, and then they go too much like on the outside of that corner. I forgot which corner name it is. There's a sausage curb, and if you drive a bit like over that one, it catches you out and you fly off the track basically. And just before the third sector starts, there's that quick chicane that also has a quite high curb that catches the cars out sometimes.
I love chicanes because you have to take them so slow, but if you nail them without like there's this edge between like riding the curb and not riding the curb, right? Just taking enough of it so you can almost like slither through it, and if you nail it, that's a slow corner where you can like make up time. Your exit out of a chicane, my lord, man, I love it. And I should also note, just since we're nerding out a little bit, because he mentioned going up the hill. It is so much harder as well to gain traction under those back wheels going uphill.
Yeah,
you're working against gravity now as well. That the forces are all against you, so it's just so hard to lay in the power like that. All right, Dash.
Where we are. I didn't know if you guys were going or not.
We just nerded out a little bit. Let's get back to the qualified.
We should probably rename ourselves to the Chicane. Just make us sound so sophisticated. Boom.
It'll confuse. I think it'll confuse a lot of non-French speaking. What's a chicane?
What's a chicane? Is that something you schlong with? No, it is something that you bend the curve with. So technically, yes. Ding! The more you know. So I think there's not really like outside of like, for example, Paris just absolutely yucking it up again. And qualifying was as expected, right? You have the McLarens absolutely just tearing it up right now, finishing in the top positions. Yep. Max is Max.
Max was mad. He punched his steering wheel.
Okay.
He was not happy. Well, he didn't get first, so he punched the steering wheel. Yeah, this will be a theme.
Dude, the guy needs to chill a bit, man.
He needs to, just
the craziest
shaft a little bit more.
I have a thought that I haven't thought of earlier. Maybe that will come later in the race.
Unfortunately for Max, he did not come. But shall we actually?
Or maybe too many times. We don't know.
No, the frustration that he had was just more so of someone that hasn't had it in a while.
I'm gonna come. Like the broccoli hair guy.
The broccoli haired guy. If you listen to the Saturday night call-in show that we did, you'll understand what we mean by the broccoli guy.
Well, broccoli. The broccoli guy was in the Ferrari paddock a few races ago. So
yeah, and he was also there at Monaco looking like an absolute douchebag.
That's what it was. Yeah, Monaco. That's Dusan Vlahovic, if you guys haven't figured that one out.
Douchebag Vlahovic.
Douchebag Vlahovic. All right, let's get out of
douchebag phase. But let's kick it off as it happened. So race kicks off, right? And Alpine starting in the pits, right? Because of their setup and power unit changes.
What did I say about
dude, if you start from P19 and P20, you can afford those penalties. Like at that point, nobody cares.
So I did want to say it earlier with the whole chicane thing and just like make fun of Americans trying to pronounce a French word. But as we just saw, an American just screwed up the French pronunciation of Alpine.
Alpine? Well,
you said Alpine, yeah.
No, we say Alpine here in the U.S. Like, get your Alpine here.
No, I know. And at first I thought it was like Alpine's car stereos because I'm like, why not? It's a car. No, it's Alpine. It's Alpine. No, it's different. It's French.
It's French. It's Alpine.
No, I'll never mind. I'm not gonna finish that. But those guys,
or whatever, call it the team owned by Travis Kelce, partially.
That's why they suck. But as car preparation, so they launch, right? Unfortunately for them, it's just no. Is it really a big deal? No one really cares, right? They just started 19 and 20 and it kicks off. Sorry.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, sorry if there's any fans that listen to this, or even if there are fans. So
we can trash on them if you want to, because they are a fucking works team and they should be better than where they are, because they are building their own engines. They can literally build their chassis and their aerodynamics like to their liking, but still aren't able to build a proper car.
They're not even able to have a weekend where both cars finish.
No,
because Gasly, I mean,
they can.
He didn't last a lap. He was done.
You know it's bad when the only upgrades then that you are bringing are weight reduction updates and non aerodynamic or performance based upgrades.
Yeah, you see how skinny the Ocon and Gasly have gotten? They're on their own weight reduction program. It's the only way they can take the weight off the car. Stop feeding their drivers.
Hey, that's why they keep crashing into each other.
They're so cranky. They're hangry. That's what's going on. Alpine's hangry.
All right, we trashed Alpine. Go on that.
All right, so the drama starts literally on the first turn. I think Dave, you've got the still image of it crash Verstappen. But you've got Max essentially trying to take Lando and Piastri on the outside, and it's like, brother, the chicane, you quite missed the chicane there. You're going in a straight line, and Max is like, the fuck's an apex? I am the apex.
Yep.
And
but but also that perfect positioning by Piastri. He's already going a little bit wide, and then Norris as well, and then Max saying, "Hey, F that, I'm going off track anyways," because look at the trajectory of his car, like he's already aiming towards the outside.
There's a lot happening in this one picture because not only, of course, the two McLarens and Max Verstappen there, but Sainz just dropped into 6th spot, and Leclerc is taking 4th spot right there.
And Hamilton overtaking the Ferrari because he started 5th. He gained the place.
That's right. Sorry. And then Hamilton taking the 4th spot back. Yes, there was a lot that happened right in there.
You know what's funny? It feels like Hamilton is looking at Leclerc and he's like coaching him right there. And he's like, you see that? That's not what you want to do. Don't do what Max is doing right.
And by the way, Dash, I think Hamilton saw our brother. I see those 3 dark and orange or red colored cars. Boy, I stay away from that.
I'm pretty sure that was Ferrari's strategy. It's just like stay away from Max, Lewis, and the McLarens, and just get past. Hopefully, things blow up in front of you,
dude. Every time Max and Lewis or Lando now are in this on the same place or on the same part of the track, brother, stay away from that. It's dangerous.
Yeah, but we saw it right here. Of course, we can't play it, but Max, he's going. He's not turning. His wheels are not turned. They are going straight.
He's not even trying. He's not even trying.
Well, the funny thing about this situation is so Max is noted by the stewards, and then he does technically take it over Norris, does take second, but the race engineer tells Max like, hey, you got to give that back, and then Max responds with, "Okay, you can just drive people off the track then."
Look how far off you.
Yeah, it's not even close,
dude. And how much speed he took out, like he took out of that corner basically.
Yeah. And then he just punched the throttle down. It's like, I'm in a straight. Let's go. It takes a second. Yeah, I don't know what he was complaining about. He said he got pushed out. I think
that's Christ up now. That's why.
Yeah, from going back to the, if we can freeze frame that, it's pretty hard. But like, it's sure he had a good launch, but like, come on, man. Come on, man.
He's taking it far. He's taking it very, very far.
And that's fine. I mean, push the limits. All the great drivers do. But that, I'm pretty sure, is well over the limits. He complained that it was a couple laps. It wasn't right away, but he waited to give that spot back. Because GP was like, dude, you
yeah, it was around lap 4, so he chilled a bit there.
Because that would have probably been 10 seconds. Because that's the standard now for one of those. Yep. And 10 seconds
would have been devastating.
Well, just to see where they finished here. 10 seconds from where he was would have put him
in front of Perez.
Yeah, just in front of Perez.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would not have been great.
That would have costed him one place, basically.
Yeah. Well, one or two. I mean, it would have hashed out differently the race, I'm sure, but
yeah, the race would have been differently because he wouldn't be close to Hamilton.
Yeah. Regardless, he had to get that spot back. It was noted, it was looked at, but because he did give that spot back, there was no further action. It looks like, reading the post-race report, that it probably would have been. The reason why it wasn't a penalty is because he gave the spot back, and that was
and I'm okay sufficient. With that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So it is what it is. That's turn 1.
He tried to be cheeky. The steward said, "Hey, give that back," or his race engineer, because I don't even think that they talked with the race director. I think it was just his race engineer, GP, like telling him, "Hey, I advise you give that back. Like, maybe better for us."
GP had a busy day. We'll get into the interchange as well.
He was a single dad today, man. Poor guy.
Single dad, yeah. That's what it felt like.
Well, so we start moving on. There's not really that much action outside, maybe like a little bit of an overtake with Albon and Albion, damn it.
Yeah, there was some good racing in the mid pack over there.
You had
Yeah.
it again. You had it again right the first time. It's Albon, not Albion.
Keep saying it feels like I'm saying my little brother's name. It just feels weird to me. And then you have Magnussen a little bit there. So like the mid, I would say the middle of the pack was entertaining. He had a couple of overtakes, and
It's always entertaining. They just don't get enough TV time, unfortunately.
yeah.
Well, not when Max is dive bombing into everyone.
Yep.
Yeah. So what else we got here? So reading my notes here. So Verstappen noted again, just kind of leaving the track and that with Norris unhappy over the radio. Hamilton just chilling in fourth while Leclerc is making some leaps up there with signs at fifth place. And this is just lap 4. So we're moving on a little bit past there. So we've got a couple of battles with Russell and Bottas for 9th place. I'm trying to get to the part where we start looking at the pitting here. So it looks like they start pitting around
lap 7 and 8 were the first ones already, and then I think the big ones after lap 10, I believe.
17 is when the medium strategy kind of wore out, and all those first to 8th, other than Hamilton. Hamilton was running the hard. He was going a bit longer the first stint, but everyone else in the top 8 was coming in between that 17 and
I think Hamilton started on medium as well.
Oh, sorry.
It was Russell and Perez on the hards, I believe, and it was Alonso or the 2 Aston Martins on softs or something.
You're right. I'm looking at an image that's like at the end of the race. I got that completely backwards. I'm sorry, guys.
So moving on a little bit, lap 14 is where we heard like the first radio communication with Lando and McLaren. Again, recurring theme. Some strategy shenanigans here. Lando, we believe our race is with Verstappen, as they told Lando. Lando's ears perk up. However, it might have been music to his ears, but another driver was not sounding too happy, and that was Alonso, who was informed about Stroll's pit stop options before responding. Doesn't care, which is interesting.
So 2 things there, because Alonso's not happy, and he gets a little vocal, but Lando. He wasn't vocal at this point, but think about this. Your race is with Verstappen. His teammate's just up ahead of him, and he's being told to protect yourself from the guy in 3rd place.
Yeah, but look, big teams. I don't know if McLaren can be considered yet as a big team that is fighting for championships. We will see that down the road, but right now they are in the position of being the closest contender for the championship. So they have to behave like that. And the race is because you want to get the 1-2 basically. That is the what you are aiming for in this race. And yes, the aim is then for the 2nd place car to stay in front of the 3rd place car, so you protect the 1-2 to max out your points. So logically, that is, in my opinion, the right call. It shouldn't matter if your name is Lando Norris or Oscar Piastri or back then Hamilton or Bottas or Verstappen or Perez. In that case, you have to protect the 1-2. That is the essential point to get the maximum points out of that race. And
I get that, but do you think that was the right way of telling him though?
Yeah, like normally these things are discussed beforehand.
It's just the way it was said. Even David Coulthard mentioned this too. Like, you don't want to be told that as a driver. You want to be looking forward, right? You don't want to be
I know, but they get these radio messages all time. It's nothing new. I know it's harsh, but these
I just
scenarios,
think it's
and I hope that McLaren talked about it beforehand. But these scenarios should be planned beforehand. And if they weren't, then it's on McLaren. But yeah, McLaren will have even more shenanigans.
I don't think they planned on having Piastri ahead of Lando, but yes, you should.
But if they didn't plan for that in the it's Like Norris
can.
effed up all his starts like in the past races, and it's not out of the run that he f's up one more, and Piastri is in front.
So let me ask you this: like, because again, I'm the newbie here, right? So, like, for example, do these maybe do we say the big three or the big four teams? Is there, like, for example, what we would call the bell cow driver, right? Where he's the main guy. If he's in a spot to win, the other driver's there to supplement or supply him. So, like, for example, would Lando be that, like, bell cow driver?
Yes, he should be.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
Technically, he is.
He is
But
in his team where in the position of where Hamilton was when Bottas was in the team, or where Verstappen is right now, where Perez is in the team. So he's your chosen number one driver.
There's two teams right now
should be,
where you can say there are clear number ones. That's
Yep.
obviously Red Bull with Max Verstappen, especially with how even when Perez was doing great, like last season,
Yep.
he was still the clear number two. And
Yep.
Williams with Albon and Sargent is just so bad.
He got the second fastest lap this race. He got the second
dude,
fastest.
and now he outqualified Perez 8 times, by the way, with this Saturday.
Yeah. So when you get into like Norris Piastri, it's clear that there's a power struggle right now.
Right, and that's why I'm asking that question, right? Because it's just like, and kind of going back to what it is, right? Where if they told, hey, look, Lando, your job is to, hold off Verstappen, where it's like, I'm like, wouldn't you want Lando to win the race so he gains more ground on the driver competition? Unless, and this is me hypothetically playing devil's advocate here, unless they know Max has that.
Yep.
And they're just, let's just secure 1 and 2 and let's get Piastri his first ever win, right? Like that's where I'm thinking that McLaren's mindset is.
And on top of that, I agree with you 100%. I think McLaren is looking at the Constructors' Championship way more than at the Driver Championship, because you have a bigger chance on the Constructor Championship than on the Driver Championship. And I think it's 76 points right now that Verstappen is ahead of Norris. That is basically 3 DNFs that Norris has to win it. So it's still like pretty far away, but the Constructors' Championship is actually close when you consider how far up top the McLarens are and where Perez is.
At this level, though, you got to be fighting. I don't think that matters. If you want to be McLaren, if you want to be the top, you fight on both fronts. In my opinion, I don't know. Like I get they want to be the nice guy. Let Piastri get his first race win. Sure.
No, trust me. I will blame McLaren a ton still, like for this race. Like there will be a lot more to come, like that I put on their shoulders. But I think in this case, and you have Piastri up front. Look, and also what it will do for Piastri's confidence when you need him up there to back up Norris, and that is what they will tell Norris also later, because you need the team and you need Oscar on your side. So
absolutely.
Take this bullet for the team basically, and it will help you on the long run.
Now,
Even
this gets
though
me to
it was harsh and it was mismanagement by the team, like on lots of levels, I understand the thinking of he's up front, and he had a 4-second gap to Norris at that point, I believe, and so they were thinking, hey, let's cover Verstappen off and secure the 1-2. At that point, I still understand it.
I'm throwing the tinfoil hat on because,
but it's not Wednesday.
I don't care. I'm throwing it on for this one because I have a feeling that, and I had to look up these numbers. Piastri had a bit of a late start. He's only a year younger than Norris. Norris is 24, Piastri is 23. Yep. Norris has been in the sport for a few years now. Yes, his car hasn't been that competitive up until the past couple months, but Piastri, and even a few times last season, he showed his raw pace. And we've mentioned, sure, he needs to, tire manage a little bit better, iron out a few parts of his game. But I think McLaren is setting up Oscar to be the number one, because I think he's just got the raw pace and he's just a better driver overall.
I think you're not too far away with your theory, but I think they want them to be 1 and 1A. I think they want them to push each other to to be better. Basically, a Hamilton and Rosberg scenario that we had in Mercedes, for example, because Oscar, if you consider he's only a season and a half into his F1 career, I think he's way ahead of schedule, like with his performances.
Oh, I think
And
so.
that's why they jumped on him.
And Norris is in his fourth and a half now, or something like that. Like it is. And
There's
I
a
think
big
like
disparity.
for
Well,
Piastri
I mean,
to be this close, it's actually impressive.
I know, and it's
that,
like, for example,
I like him. I like
and
Oscar.
again, he's causing a menace. Like, for example, he's giving drivers issues. So moving on, because we'll hit back again on this topic towards the end where it gets a little bit more juicy. So Hamilton is the first one of the front runners to pit on lap 17. So he's coming in on a set of hard tires on P7 as he looked to make the undercut on Verstappen in the battle for third. And then Norris, meanwhile, was encouraged to apply 100% pace before driving into the pits himself. German Dave, questionable, non-questionable at that point for McLaren?
For McLaren, I think at that point it was okay because Piastri was 4 seconds ahead of Norris, so he won't gain as much if he gets the undercut on his teammate. At that point, I understand it that you want to cover off Verstappen and Hamilton. So at that point, it's okay for me to get Norris in earlier because he won't be passing his teammate with a pit stop, basically. At that point, it's okay for me.
Okay,
you're
cool.
securing the 1-2 again. You're ensuring that when Norris comes out the pits and Piastri a lap later, that you have the 1-2 still secure.
Gotcha. So moving on to the next part. So this brought McLaren back out on P5 on the hard compound, and then Piastri followed one lap later for the hard rubber. And then rejoined ahead of his teammate in P4. As for Verstappen, who had yet to pit, putting him in the lead, the Red Bull driver reported that he was struggling to turn the car. Well, gee, I don't know. Maybe when you say fuck turning since turn 1, you might have an issue there, bud. My goodness. Also yet to pit were the Ferraris, Smooth Operator, and Charles Leclerc. Running in second and third, and then further back going long, it didn't seem to be paying off for Russell and Perez, who were making little ground at that point as well by lap 20. So we had a flurry of action, as it says here, in the pit lane by lap 22. Verstappen swept in for a smooth stop, bringing Red Bull back out to fifth on the hard tire, while Sainz, Bolton on the same compound, returned to the track down in ninth, leaving him behind Perez, which didn't last long. And that was this handed the lead to Leclerc, who has yet to stop and keep it up. This is really good driving. The Muscanese was informed over the radio.
That was another funny one. It's like, oh, you're doing great. Keep it up, buddy.
Your car still works.
And the funny thing is, like, it was actually good.
It was actually good. It was, but again, it's how it was delivered.
It was actually good. Yeah, it sounds ironic, but it was actually good.
Yeah, the delivery from the race engineers this weekend has a lot to be desired.
No, it's comedic gold. So and then he goes in, comes back out, getting into P5 once he comes out of it. Sainz, in the meanwhile, was trying to overtake Perez for 8, while Hamilton, who had taken third from Verstappen, thanks to making the undercut, was showing a good pace, which, again, since Silverstone, after Silverstone, like, Hamilton looks like he has a new lease on life when it comes to his driving. Like, it's almost like he's enjoying being out there.
It's almost like Mercedes stopped sabotaging his car. No, just kidding. just kidding.
No, that's a tinfoil theory. So showing good pace, but so is Verstappen, having being pumped in. Again, he was cooking at 26, having another really fast lap there at that point.
At that point, he was very, very quick.
He got the fastest lap at that point.
Yep. And Hamilton, for on the hard tires on that stint, wasn't actually good. Like, it was okay still. The pace was still good, but on the hard tires, the Mercedes, for example, wasn't as good as the Red Bull and the McLarens.
I'm pretty sure Max likes it hard.
Oh, absolutely.
Not gonna lie. Like, whenever he's got a hard on, he's giving her.
Oh, right. He's not the guy to like it soft and smooth.
Clearly. So moving up, I'm going to move towards around lap 33. We had Piastri still had a slight off, but still had the lead. Hamilton really had Max essentially on his back at this point. Like, Max was breathing down his neck for third at that point. It was interesting because he was trying to get into the DRS window, was off by a little bit from the DRS, was really trying to get there in and out. Like I thought Hamilton did a really freaking good job keeping
Hamilton, that was again prime 2021. Like how he defended Verstappen, like in some corners, how he forced him a bit wide there and pushed him a little off there, and then Verstappen when he tried to overtake him, like carrying too much speed into turn 4, I believe, and going off track. Dude, I love seeing like Hamilton having his energy back.
You saw Hamilton do it to Leclerc as well later in the race.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. It's like, is Hamilton at this point like an agent for McLaren? Like the amount.
Did you hear what he said after the race?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it. That's kind of why I'm mentioning it.
How he kind of like my old family.
Yep. Hey, but he always said that when they're up there, hey, I'm happy that's my family, that's my old team. I will always be grateful and cheer for them. And...
Sure. It's just weird, you're racing for Merc, you're about to go to Ferrari, and you're cheering a McLaren one. It's a little.
Would it be like, for example, would it not surprise you if Hamilton is like kind of helping McLaren at this point?
No, dude, he's doing his own thing.
He's just so damn likable.
He's doing his own thing because now McLaren. McLaren is over
cool.
McLaren's doing better than Ferrari now in the constructors, and he wants Ferrari to do better in the constructors so they get more money for more developments because he's going there next year. So it would make 0 sense to be helping out McLaren right now.
He's getting 100 million. He doesn't give a fuck.
No, and also if he sees Verstappen on track, like he will prove a point. He will try to at least.
I'll fight him. They're fighting.
He did hold him, but unfortunately he locked up as he tried to defend him.
Yeah, dude, he costed Verstappen. What was it? I think he costed Verstappen 3 or 4 seconds, and then went into the pits and said, "Hey, have fun now."
Love it.
That's pure pettiness. I love it. Norris closing the gap to Piastri about 1.5 seconds. Was the leader struggling with his tires? Some people think so. So we're getting up by, I want to say, by lap 38. Verstappen is not letting up his pursuit of Hamilton as they continue battling with their aging tires, which also seemed to bring Leclerc. Leclerc was creeping on those two as the race went on. So he was sneaking in there behind. He's like, got yourself a little bit of a podium there for me.
So he had the mediums on and just didn't have the raw pace to make the move and kind of got stuck back there.
Yep.
That's the unfortunate, like the Ferrari, and we'll talk about them again, like we said. That's the little bit they're missing right now because they could have. He should have caught a podium.
Also, and you will see also after the last pit stop when him and Verstappen went to the mediums and Hamilton went to another set of hard tires. You saw like Leclerc was around the 1.5 second mark behind Hamilton, but he never had the actual pace to get close to him. So I think they're not missing enough. And if you want, we can do the Ferrari talk right now because they're right in that battle.
Sure. Now I do want to caveat a little bit with this track because of all the tight corners. When you're within that 1 second or so, there is so much dirty air, and trying to maintain that grip because you get understeer is what happens when you get into that dirty air. Your aerodynamic surfaces aren't getting nice smooth air anymore. They're getting turbulent air. They don't have the same downforce. You end up oversteering, and it's so hard on a track like this to maintain that grip, and that's why you saw even Max to Leclerc right at the end as well. He just couldn't maintain that distance in this tight track. But yes, let's talk to
go further into that. Also, the Hungarian is a track where you need almost a 2 second advantage on the car in front of you to make an overtake on the straight, basically, because you have to fight against that dirty air and the warm air that is coming out of the car as well, heating up your engine and your brakes and everything. So there are a lot of factors that are making it harder to overtake the car in front of you. And even for the Red Bull that has such a straight line advantage with the DRS, like it was Verstappen wasn't able to overtake like Hamilton like properly on track, and usually it's no problem for the Red Bull, and even Verstappen couldn't do it if he kind of was able, but because he was braking too late.
All right, so we're talking about the Ferraris then, generally speaking today.
Yep, Ferrari.
They did okay. I think we all kind of agreed with that, right? They did.
I think it was
okay.
It was better than okay. It was good. Like considering where they were the past couple of races, that they were like actually nowhere. I think they made a pretty big step forward.
Yeah, I thought it was a sneaky good race from them, because it was just kind of like, oh, they're here. Oh, cool, they're here. Like it wasn't like
and
they
both
came
of
in.
them, both drivers were good. Both of them were good.
Now, Sainz had a bad start, mind you, but I want to point this out because we tend to look at individual drivers, constructors. We don't really break down how much each team scored on the weekend. So McLaren with a 1-2, an easy 43 points. They ran away with it. Mercedes with a 3 and an 8, and a Russell fastest lap, 20 points, which ties them with the Ferrari also at 20 points this weekend, and Red Bull at 16. So Ferrari was tied for the second best team in points earned this weekend. So put it like that. They did okay. They're in a bit of damage control, but getting the second best outing overall is pretty good damage control.
They still got.
And I think in the last 3 or 4 races. Sorry, I forgot that if the stat was 3 or 4 races. The McLaren, Mercedes, and Ferrari scored more points. No, Ferrari wasn't in there. Sorry, the McLarens and the Mercedes scored more points than the Red Bulls in the past 3 races. Like outscored them in points won.
Yeah, they're shook. They're shaken. Speaking of teams, so it gets a little bit interesting here. So we're at lap. Well, I forgot my thing. Around lap 41-ish, like 30. I want to say 38 to 41. Lando's still 1.5 seconds behind Piastri, so he was informed by his team to race the papaya car, but only to the mid 40s.
The next pit stop, essentially.
Yeah. So German Dave, thoughts on that?
That means drive to that exact pace, which is the same pace that Piastri is driving. So they are telling him to drive that fast, but not quicker. What they basically want is the cars to not fight on track because of the possibility of them taking out each other. Those are thoughts that every team always has when they have a 1-2 in their back. Basically, you don't want your drivers fighting and risking that result. And so they were telling him basically, drive to that exact lap time, so their delta stays the same.
Yep, and then also on that, in that phrase or in that time frame as well, we had Hamilton being told to box Lewis, box, and Lewis did not respond to the call, ignored it. But I believe he did go in with Leclerc into there, essentially going in there, and both of them respectively undercut Verstappen.
And that's why he got pissed.
He was so mad. So this is one of them. This is just the one that they decided to show in the replay. Well, that's some gentle introduction. That's from GP. And the Max says, "No, mate, don't give me that shit. You guys gave me the shit strategy. Okay, I'm trying to rescue what's left. Fuck." That was just one of the radios.
Dude, he was pissed, but look, the problem is I kind of agree with him. Red Bull was treating this race like they were driving at the front. They weren't treating this race as chasing a race, basically, because their decision making was always a lap later than the other teams. Of course, the McLarens, even the McLarens came in earlier to cover him, basically. Even the McLarens came in earlier. So the Red Bulls were kind of slow today with their strategy, but maybe they were thinking, or they had in their notes or whatever, that they can work with the overcut, and that it is advantageous if they have I don't know, 1 or 2 lap fresher tires, for example. I don't know what they were thinking like 100%, but the strategy was certainly not 100% on point this race. But this brother needs to chill because the strategy won him so many effing races, and now he's just shitting on their desk, and that's not cool. That's not the way to do it, brother. That's not the way to do it, and to treat
And
your
this-
team like.
What's his strategist's name? I forgot. She looked kind of like awkward.
Hannah
today.
Schmidt.
Hannah Schmidt. Yes,
Schmidt.
thank you.
Yeah.
They did pan to her at one point in the race, and she had this awkward kind of smile because she knew the camera was on her, but I'm pretty sure she was
And usually she's on point. She's an incredible, she's the head of strategy of Red Bull, not only his, but for the whole team. And she's basically was James Vowles was, for example, when he called Valtteri, it's James, when he did the team orders and everything. So she's basically the head of strategy for Red Bull. And she's also usually on point, so he needs to chill, man. He needs to chill.
Yep. So, and then we kind of start getting a little bit more of all the entertainment starts happening towards the end of the race. But Norris became the first of the top four to pit in lap 46, with the McLaren coming back on the scrubbed medium tires, not medium, but scrubbed.
That's where the controversy starts.
Yes, this is where the shenanigans happen. Piastri was then told was told over the radio, will manage the situation, suggesting that the squad had brought his teammate in first to cover off the risk from Hamilton behind. 2 laps later, Piastri is pitted on the medium tires on a slower stop than Norris himself, and returned to the track behind his fellow McLaren driver in P3. As such, Norris was then informed, "We'd like to reestablish the order at your convenience." And German Dave, I know you want to talk about this.
So, this whole situation could have been solved in so many different ways. Number one, if you want to give Lando the win, you plan that before the race. You're telling Piastri, hey, however it turns out, if Norris is behind you and he's fighting for the championship, we want him to take this win. So now that they told him they want to reestablish the order that was beforehand, evidently they didn't have the talk, or they didn't consider. They didn't tell Lando, hey, you're getting this race. So what they did was egregious in my opinion, because at the point where they brought Lando in, he was 7 seconds ahead of Verstappen on track. So there wasn't like any danger of losing that position, even if you bring Oscar in first. So why not bring Oscar in and then a lap later Lando, or do the double stack or whatever? Even the double stack maybe is a bit slower for both cars, but you have a fair treatment of your drivers. But ideally, you bring an Oscar, and then you bring a Lando in the next lap, and then you can take care of everything else when they are in that right order, because that was the deserved order on merit at that point. And then you have them fight it out on track, or you're telling your drivers via team radio, bring this home in this order, no risk. But before doing that, you have to bring in Piastri first, and nothing of this would have happened that way.
All right. So going on there as well. So Verstappen makes his pit stop we're almost there, Dave.
I know. I was a little premature.
He came too
Oh,
soon.
I thought Dave wants to shoot his thoughts on the McLaren situation.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know. Dave, did you want to go on the McLarens or move on?
I'm happy it's not Ferrari.
Okay, cool.
They sound they're like,
funny enough, this could have been a Ferrari decision.
cool. Well, that's the thing. And I know this is a little, I saw on social media, of course, people saying, oh, if this is Ferrari, the commentators would be losing their shit, blah, blah. No, I mean, the commentators were repeatedly saying how bad it was. So
yeah, they did.
It was bad. It should not have happened. They need to learn some lessons. And if they don't, they'll never be the champions. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Yep. So Verstappen makes his. Well, I'm about
Bless you. Oh,
Sneeze,
just
I sneezed. Wow, that's a first. Someone's talking shit. So Verstappen, meanwhile, making his pit stop with a temporary lead that he had, rejoins in fifth behind Hamilton and Leclerc. Sainz follows in after with Russell and Perez. We're finally able to make gains, having some clean air in the 7th and 8th spot. 20 laps remaining, and it gets interesting again. A radio message to Piastri explains that they could swap positions once you get to Lando, but added that they were keen to avoid Norris giving up too much race time, with the gap between both of those two being 3 seconds, with Verstappen flying in 5th, prompting a sarcastic message from the Lambeus about his tire management before the Dutchman issued a sweary response. At that point, Norris was encouraged to save his tires as Piastri seemed to struggle to close the gap behind him.
So we lost Dave.
He's back.
He's coming back. Yeah, he started so. That's fine. We got him.
We got him.
Yeah. Chrome
Cool.
said goodbye.
Good. Chrome just gave up. Memory dump.
And that's because McLaren's sponsored by Chrome. That's why the strategy's timeout.
Oh, bam! Love it.
Absolutely.
Not well. You know who's sponsored by CrowdStrike?
That's true.
The global
Mamma mia.
outage
So,
sponsored
Hey,
by
but
Red Bull.
that guy got a medium. Got the podium, not the medium.
So kind of going on to it here. So German Dave, I'm not sure where you cut out, but we're at the final 20 laps with the whole Piastri message once you get to Lando, right? So they didn't want to give up too much race time, but Lando or Piastri couldn't really catch up to Lando at that point. So that's where we're kind of at that point there.
I have a question though, and I'll pose it to you. Did Oscar legitimately not have that pace, or was
No, he
he
didn't have
actually
the pace.
following? I have a feeling perhaps now they wouldn't let on to this, and he even said Oscar did. I just didn't quite have the pace. Maybe perhaps they had the strategy. This is the lap time you should do to preserve tires, and Oscar did that, and Lando just went in the black and just started giving her, and it worked out. Like they had lots of tire, but I question that.
It may be possible as well, but I think again in this situation it's again the middle way, because I think Norris, even though I love Oscar, as you guys know, I think Lando still has clearly like the edge performance wise on him, and I think you saw that in those laps. Maybe like Oscar had some lap times dictated by the team that he fulfilled, like you normally should when a team tells you, and maybe Lando drove the car a bit faster than he should be, or didn't manage his tires as he should be, but I think still like Lando has a pace advantage, and he showed that.
Yep, and it continued to show that way as the gap was 4 seconds, and McLaren tells Lando, "I know you'll do the right thing to him."
That's the disappointed dad speech right there.
That's kind of funny. And then I know the commentators were losing their mind on this one, but with 10 laps to go, it looked very, very unlikely that Norris was going to hand the lead to Oscar.
I was surprised in the end that he did it. Honestly, I thought he would bring it home.
And then this is where it gets interesting, right? Where he says, "Remember, every single Sunday morning meeting we have," he was told to, in which he responded, "Well, can you tell him to catch up then, please?"
I do love that response, because he had 2 lap newer tires, hence the reason why they were in this undercut situation. And if Oscar wanted to push, he can certainly do it, but he wasn't.
So then behind them, Verstappen had caught up with Hamilton and engaged in another close duel with his former title rival.
Mamma
Dutchman
mia.
was unhappy with Hamilton's defensive moves, but tried to get in turn 1 before locking up and making contact with the Mercedes, resulting in Red Bull bouncing in the air, leaving in the track, and essentially ending Max's hopes of getting the podium here.
So you can see here in this photo the lockup. They're side by side, like no clear advantage. Pure lockup.
Yeah. And one of the cars is there because he broke too late. That's why he's there in the first place. Like, he's not there because he actually like overtook him.
No.
So,
He
Dave,
he only was up
I
there.
think we can play 7 seconds of this. So if you're able to time it right, like just pause and play for like 7 seconds, I think you can actually show the actual action here.
Airborne.
Yep. So one of the cars was ready to take the corner, and one car, its trajectory was still driving
Straight.
forward, straight
Again.
forward.
Same turn.
And that
Same straight
and
trajectory.
that is once again where, what was it? When the immovable object, I don't know, man. Yeah, my English is not
Unstoppable
the greatest.
force, immovable object,
Yep,
and
yep,
yeah, that's
that one.
what that is.
And that is Verstappen and Hamilton to everybody.
Love it. And again, I had a moment where it's like Ferrari, they're just back, they're doing their thing. They're probably just gonna hope that the two of them, Max and Lewis, are
And
gonna
boom.
link up again. And bam, there it was again. Just like
And
Austria.
there it was again. And there it was again. Yeah. It's always these two, man. It's like magnets. Dude, every single time they get close to each other on track. It's
Yeah,
crazy to me, man.
this was great. I'm actually surprised how he only really lost a position. Sainz didn't have enough to overtake.
Hey, and at one point, Sainz was so close to him. I thought Sainz has the legitimate pace over him, or Verstappen has damage that Sainz can overtake him as well. But
What is this Red Bull made out of?
I don't
It's
know.
insane.
It's a tank or whatever, dude. It's crazy.
I'm surprised the wing didn't fall off.
Nothing. Nothing.
The floor,
It
like,
continued to
nothing.
drive.
And well, Charles, anyways, too. If you're talking about in practice there, where he just like sideswiped his entire like one side of his car, and it's fine.
And also, hey, you guys know that because you are technically like very, very like knowledgeable. For the Mercedes to not lose the front suspension there with that impact of the Red Bull, that's crazy to me as well.
Or even a puncture or anything. Neither one of them.
Nothing. Not a puncture. No suspension failure. Like nothing in the F1 game. Like it would have been gone. Race over.
I never have a wing in that game.
No, you can't. Hey, if you drive against other sim drivers and you're good, the ghosting is off. Hey, at the start already, wings lost.
So I had this joke last time we played. Last weekend we had a race, and it's like it should be like in the first person shooter, right? You know, when it's pistols only. It's like that, but like no wings, no wings only. Just go, because you're gonna lose it in the first turn anyways. Like, why even put them on? Should be an option.
Gosh, you know how many times I lose my wings, and it becomes a pain in the ass to steer after.
I did see speaking of wings, I saw a good meme of this, more so the picture that is her background, but it basically just said Red Bull gives you wings as a background.
Fair enough. Absolutely.
Love it.
So
I guess the term is right.
Going a little bit in depth on this moment here, right? So I saw a lot of Max fans saying that Hamilton's a dick, it's Hamilton's fault, and yada yada yada. And I'm watching this, I'm like, how?
No.
How is this Lewis's fault? Like, Lewis is just sitting there. He's like, mate, I didn't even turn my wheel. Like, he's on the radio because, like, for example, the stewards are reviewing this. They made note of this collision and whatnot. And then you can hear Lewis tell his team, he's like, guys, I didn't even move my wheels.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy how long Lewis waited to turn into the corner. He slowed down so much, and he literally didn't turn into the corner because Verstappen was still on the inside. And dude, it's crazy to me. At some point, he has to turn into the corner, and he turned in so late, and Verstappen was still there with his back tire because he just didn't brake.
There it is.
I mean, look at the trajectory. Like, there you see it perfectly. Like, one car is set up to take the turn normally or a bit later than the apex because the car is there, and the other one isn't even turning.
No,
like
you don't see
wasn't
anything
even
moving.
turning. Like, dude, it's crazy. Like
I wonder
blaming Hamilton for this are dude. So I'm
But-
sorry to say it that way, but they're brain dead.
I still see. Look how that wing turns.
And we're gonna get into the flexi wings here. Like that cannot be regulation.
That is pretty flexible.
It's the entire car is balanced on
Dude,
one side of the wing right now.
That front wing should have been gone.
It's insane. It's not physically possible. I don't understand.
That's not carbon fiber. That's titanium fiber.
It's carbon fiber. Do you know that spot where that guy says carbon fiber? Carbon fiber.
I wonder if it shows what Max says on the radio.
Dude,
I forget.
and for him to not break the floor on that impact when the rear came down, not to break the floor, not to break the engine, not to break the gearbox, not to lose the wing, not to use aerodynamic parts, not to use the rear suspension. It's crazy how.
And that's a bounce. Like that, it was so hard.
That is
bounced
a
again.
Bounce. Dude, he was 1.5 meters in the air.
And the car was fine. I mean, he probably lost a couple points of downforce. Yeah, it's only a few laps left, and he was sandwiched in between Ferraris. But like, come on, man, that's absolutely insane engineering.
The engineering is incredible. But yeah, it doesn't take away from it being his fault.
No, it does not. It's Max's fault.
Oh, 100%. I don't see how it could be Lewis. Like even Lewis was saying, he's like, dude, he's like, I was
move
waiting
my wheel. And he was still there.
You can see, he started to turn a little bit.
Yeah, but look where he is on track. If you start to turn there, brother. And by the way, he should thank Hamilton because with that trajectory, he would have went straight into the barriers. Hamilton slowed him down.
Look at that, completely airborne.
That's crazy.
I'm down for it every week.
I don't know what to say. Like,
can we have these two in a championship fight again, please?
Oh man, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I was gonna say those two are like the absolute definition of petty. Especially Max right now.
And none of the drivers is giving Verstappen contra or a fight like Hamilton does, man. Because he knows Verstappen. Have you like him waiting so long to turn in? He knew exactly what Verstappen is doing. He knew Verstappen will leg brake. And that is honestly a different car would have turned in earlier and it would have been an even bigger collision.
And they both had DRS. They were coming up on back markers. They passed Albon there, right? And they both would have been just absolutely giving her at that point.
Yeah.
Which makes it that much better.
Those two know each other, man. Those two know each other.
Yeah.
And now that the Mercedes is right there at the front, we will see that more often.
So I think I'm trying to see if I can actually pull the audio of what was said at that moment because I'm going to get it from the F1 actual website instead of YouTube. So it should be a little bit more.
How about this? I'm going to make the intro that audio.
Okay. I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah, let's do.
Well, because you dropped about 5 F-bombs before the 30-second mark, so I have to put a few seconds in there.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So that's what we're gonna do.
It was funny because like Max was like, he turned into me, and his steward or his communicator on the other end was like, Max, we'll let the stewards handle this. I'm not gonna get into an argument with the other teams.
Dude, he literally said at this point it's childish. I'm not even getting into a battle with the other teams for this. The dude knew who was at fault, and he was having none of it because Max in this race, man. Dude, it was hard, man. It was hard for GP. He had a hard job.
Yeah, the whole Red Bull. But you know what? Perez wasn't the problem. Maybe today. I mean, he still sucked, but he wasn't the problem. He did okay on the day.
He was one of them was the problem in qualifying, the other one in the race. So
yeah. So I mean, now we just need both of them to not suck at the same time.
Yeah, and so we can go a bit more in depth into the Red Bull situation because, in my opinion, there are a couple of factors why Max is this way. Number one, there's a challenge, and with how the season started, he didn't expect the challenge for the title. He thought this would be smooth sailing, and now he's literally like fighting in every single race, and he didn't know this will happen. And like we said, also the past couple of pods, he is already like a couple of engine components behind, so he will have to take that maybe next race, maybe the next 2 races. But you get your fresh engines in always, like for these races, Spa, Monza, the high-speed races. So he will get an engine penalty in one of these, and he doesn't have the overspeed or that much more speed to make that time good when he starts 10 places back. If you have the McLaren starting on P1 and 2, and he starts from P11 or P12 or whatever, he won't make that time up because he doesn't have that speed advantage anymore.
Well, and you're fighting people, and that's not to say he couldn't eventually overtake Mercs and Ferraris, but how much are you ruining those tires passing all of those guys to try to get up there?
Yeah, and those teams are quicker, so they will hold him up. Like, it's not they will drive towards the side and let him pass like they did for the past 2 seasons. Like the Ferraris will get there. Like, give them time to figure out their new floor, the upgrades that they are bringing now. The Ferraris will be up there. The Mercedes right now are up there, and the McLarens hands down are the quickest car. So it will be hard for Verstappen to make up ground when he starts further back.
Yeah,
and then maybe if he starts further back, let's give him, I don't know, let's say he makes it back to P3, for example. Lando wins the race. Lando makes 10 points on him, and then it's 66 all of a sudden, like as an example. And then imagine Verstappen like DNFs one race.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking, because now
41, for example, 41. Did the math correctly?
But he's going to be fighting, and we saw what happens when he's fighting and gets frustrated. Who's to say he takes this 10-place grid penalty, even if he qualifies first? Takes the penalty. He's in 10th place.
P11.
Yeah, P11. P11
best. He starts from P11, and let's say the McLarens out qualify him. He starts from P13, for example.
And you're gonna have to fight at least 2 dudes that will absolutely go wheel to wheel with you in Lando and Lewis.
But the crazy thing is, he will have to overtake both Ferraris on track, both Mercedes on track, and most likely both McLarens. And the
maybe
Red Bull
even
doesn't
Checo.
have the pay. Maybe, yeah, but Checo will let him pass. That I don't even consider.
But he's fighting for a job.
An opponent. Oh no!
You think if it's next weekend and Checo's fighting for a job,
dude, he will do whatever the engineer will tell him.
Or
don't worry about that.
Or he knows he doesn't have a job anymore, and he says, "Screw it! This is my last chance." And he eats it into
he does that. or he does that. But yeah, it's 6 or 6.5 if you count Perez cars in front of him that will fight him. So it will be hard to make places. Like, even if he starts on P3, for example, like he did today.
Well, today, yeah. That and
the McLarens.
How often do you see that where?
Yeah.
Other than maybe that odd time where he has DNF, engine problems, which he does have. He had one this year after like a year and a half, but those happen. When was the last time, other than those situations, where you see Verstappen actually finish worse than he started? Like this is a bit of an anomaly in that sense, right?
Yep. Yeah, this season in 2021 when he fought Hamilton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the past year and a half, though, this is, again, other than like engine blowing up or something, this does not happen to him. So here we are. He's fighting.
Yeah, he's fighting, and this is how he behaves on track. Like, there are people that don't want to hear this, but when he has to fight on track, win it on track instead of driving comfortably into the sunset, this is how he behaves on track. The nickname Crash Verstappen doesn't come from nowhere. Like, people are laughing about it or using it lightly, but it is coming from his past because he crashed into literally every driver in his early Toro Rosso and Red Bull days. That's why he has that nickname. And when he's fighting, he's still doing it.
Well, I'm here for it. I giggled again like a schoolgirl when it happened. So
Oh yeah, I
keep on
was
crashing, man.
loving it, but I was loving it, but I was only loving it when I saw. Oh, all right, Hamilton got away got away with it.
Of course, sure. I was
Like, it
just
didn't
like,
damage his
go
car.
Charles, go. You got
Yeah.
this.
Dude, the next couple of corners, I was still, God, please don't have a puncture, don't have a broken suspension, Hamilton, and thankfully
Lucky.
it worked out.
Yeah, lucky for sure. Now, I was also wondering too. You said Max wasn't really prepared for the fight. He wasn't properly prepared. Do you think he overbooked on the sim racing side of things, and now he's just
He
over
was taking it
over?
Yeah,
Last night you're saying he was up till 3 a.m. doing his sim
until 3
racing.
a.m.
How
Yeah.
much of that do you think is legit? It's like, oh, this is easy. I got to take on
And
some extra.
by the way, he did the same. He did the same. Was it Austria? One of those races.
Yeah, but
I
he
forgot
did.
which race this was, but it was in the past month. He did before another race. Like, he stayed up until 3 or 4 a.m. and he drove like a maniac in that one as well. I don't know if there's something to it, but the brother should concentrate on F1 right now.
Well, he was talking about even leaving F1 there a year or two ago because he wasn't challenging enough. That's why he was doing this other
boring.
stuff. Yeah. Well, it's not boring anymore, is it?
It's not boring anymore. No.
All right. Enough about Max. I guess we gotta bring this one home because finally the McLaren sort themselves out and the Aussie gets.
He gets it at lap 68, where it was like almost like disappointed dad, like, hey, we need Oscar, give him the pole. Like, what are you doing at 68? You just got to the point where it was just it seemed almost embarrassing, really.
It was embarrassing. Now here's the thing.
It was absolutely. It was horrible.
Because we just talked about two cars meeting. If a flag comes out, there's no passing on the flag. What if you finished that race under a safety car? And the team owners mean nothing at that point.
The order.
Yeah, it's locked in. That's what they were risking as well. That late into the race, especially.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, because we haven't gone in depth yet on it, I think it was honestly mismanagement of the highest order. It was incredible how bad the team managed that situation. Like, it is one of those situations. Do you remember when Ferrari, for example, didn't pick Vettel or Leclerc as their number one driver? Or in 2022, for example, when Leclerc in the early races was fighting Verstappen, and then in couple they gave the beneficial strategy to Carlos Sainz.
Oh, the Binotto days.
Yeah, but we were laughing at Ferrari because they were mismanaging that stuff. And now, dude, it's time for McLaren to take the blame for that, because that was incredible mismanagement. Either you prepared before the race and you're saying he's our number one driver, he's our championship driver, or the guy that has the bigger chance to fight for the championship. So it doesn't matter what. If we are P1 and 2, we will turn it to the order where Lando finishes first. If either you do that, or you do the undercut and let him pass Piastri, but you have to tell Piastri, like in the team radio, you have to inform your drivers what to do, and not doing it and then expecting them to make the decision.
Yeah, it was really quite a travesty at the end of the day. It was embarrassing.
It was horrible. It was, yeah. Absolutely.
Everyone, of course, is talking about it too at this point. It's the talk of the town.
And what makes me angry, like, this is a moment of Piastri's career. Like, I'm 100% sure that he will celebrate it, but it should have been celebrated even more. Nobody is talking about the win. Everybody's talking about the team order and Verstappen and Hamilton crashing again.
Yeah,
like,
I know we should be celebrating Piastri's first win,
like,
but we're not.
Everything is overshadowing Piastri and how great he was this race.
But just McLaren, look at the times here. Now, of course, there's a bit of a tussle in behind, but Norris slowing right down. He was like 6-7 seconds ahead of Piastri at one point, ends up dropping back 2 seconds behind, and there's still 15 seconds to Hamilton in third. The McLarens were just the hell out there.
It is an incredible, dominant race result, but nobody is talking about it because of the mismanagement.
Yeah. It's great. It's great for us. I mean, come on,
it's great. It's great for us. It's great for content creators. It's great for F1 and for people that want to watch the next races. Like I 100% people, everybody will like the tension, but it's overshadowing their performance, and that McLaren, and I think you agree with me as well, is the fastest car right now.
And what's even more of a travesty is Lance Stroll here getting a point, and nobody's talking about that either.
Absolutely. How dare they?
Come on, buddy, Stroll here, my fellow Canadian, getting a point up on there, beating Alonso. What a boy.
What a boy.
And Tsunoda picking. That's another good thing there. It's Tsunoda getting a couple points today as well. And that just goes to show that there's a lot of little positives here with different drivers, different teams, and nobody cares. Because it's all about 1 and 2 fighting, and Max
and car 44 and 30. Car number, because he doesn't have the 33 anymore.
No, but yeah, I mean, it's good for us in one way.
It's good. It's entertainment.
But yeah, there's
so
much.
It's still mathematically, it's a McLaren one too. So
yeah.
In the Constructors' Championship, and if you want to, you can show it. It's getting closer and closer by every race now.
Yeah. So do we want to go into we'll go into the brief recap of the numbers here, because we are a bit over time here. So we do have Red Bull at 389, McLaren is at 338, so about almost 51 point gap.
51 points.
Oh,
it's crazy close. It's getting like crazy close.
And Ferrari cleared off the line there as well with a few bad showings from Leclerc. It just shows how dominant McLaren has been. Really.
Oh, absolutely. How many times did we talk in the past race has McLaren thrown away a win? Like this one, they got the 1-2 finally, but how many results have they thrown away in the past couple of races?
I mean,
and those points are missing right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if like for example with Austria, right? Like for example with Austria, this could be maybe 10 points closer.
Yep.
And that could be the difference. That's going to be what it comes down to, is the experience. Like Red Bull, not a great showing today on the strategy department and the engineering department, what have you. But they're still putting up results, right? They're still making things count.
And also in this race, you can argue Lando Norris could have made 7 points more on Verstappen.
Yeah,
but he didn't. Like, and it's again down to the team. If you think that driver should win the race, like let him properly win it, and don't even make I don't know, man. They put him in a very bad light. Like they gave him the undercut and he passed him on track. And then they're talking to him like they're expecting him to be a saint and give the points or give the win to Piastri while he's in his mind fighting for a championship, and he very much may. We don't know yet, but it's getting closer and closer.
Yeah, it's getting closer, and we still technically haven't hit the second half of the season yet.
Oh, this is it, yeah, halfway through. And things are not too bad, really. 265 for Max, 189 for Norris, Leclerc at 162 with Sainz at 154, Piastri 149. He's getting tight in there as well. Yep. And Hamilton, Perez 125, 124, Russell 116, and then the drop off of Alonso 45, Stroll at 24. Again, Stroll, my boy, everyone's hating on you, but you are a solid number 10. But watch out for Hulk and Tsunoda. But still, man, like he's supposed to be worse than that, and he's not.
He's doing okay. There would be other drivers that I would replace before Stroll.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up with the winners and losers of the weekend. So I'm gonna go first this time. So my winners of the weekend have to be Ferrari. I'm putting Ferrari as the winners of the weekend. They actually were able to get 2 cars to finish the race properly. So that, and also they were right behind the shenanigans in a sense. So again, it's a good placement for them, right? Like, for example, it's a good rebound for Leclerc and Sainz to be, actually by each other per se, to be in reference to each other instead of one being in 5th and the other in 17th. So I'm going to say, Ferrari were able to somewhat, mitigate the bleeding or stop the bleeding this race here. Hopefully there's, a sense of consistency, right? Hopefully they can maintain this, but I have to give the winner of the weekend to Ferrari, which I never thought I would be complimenting Ferrari for a weekend, but hey, there's a first time for
They do okay once in a while, man. So I don't know what they've been including there.
I think the loser of the weekend for me, it's going to be a tough tie, right? I want to say McLaren's strategy director and Verstappen. Because
now you took 2 away, man.
I'm just saying that's where I'm just going to leave it at that. I want to say, like, if we're going off of drivers, it's going to be Verstappen, but if we're going off of organization and strategy, it's going to be, I'm just going to go with Max, just because Max regressed into like an absolute child this race.
Well, let's expedite. Is there any other thing to say for the biggest loser outside of McLaren as a team and Max as an individual? Other than Gasly not finishing.
Alpine again. Yeah.
So we hit all the
same thoughts. Hey, so we have 3 losers.
All right. Losers are done.
Secret winner, Logan Sargent, for getting the second fastest lap this track.
Yeah.
And for out qualifying Perez again.
Absolutely. Otherwise, I mean, if we're going to take a biggest winner outside of the Piastri, I mean, this wasn't his first true win in a sense. It's not feeling like it.
It's stained.
It doesn't feel like it, unfortunately. Yeah.
No. I'm handing it to Hamilton.
Man, now you took mine away. Now I have to
so goddamn cool. It's like Hamilton.
You know what?
Goddamn cool.
Then I will give it to Piastri. I'm still giving it to him. Congratulations on his first win, man.
He didn't do anything wrong.
No. Let's ask you why.
We can't be sitting here and not giving. At least one of us has to give it to him for winning his first race, and I'll be the guy to give him the best thing of the weekend in my opinion.
Let me ask you both this, because you both wanted him. So, like, why would both of you select Hamilton as your guys' winner of the weekend?
He fought it. He fought off the pressure.
He fought off pressure of Verstappen, of a car that was quicker, and he looks fighty again, and I love that. And we need that, because we need as many cars as possible up there at the front, and we need as much cars as possible to fight against Max.
So Max starts in 5th.
So we need to, yeah.
He starts in 5th, finishes in 3rd.
We need Hamilton up there, and it feels great seeing him fighting there at the front, man.
And when you look at the starting grid, Max starts 3rd, Hamilton 5th. That was reversed. If you're able to do that, you did good. Yeah. I think that's the metric right there. You swap spots with Max, and you did it by fighting toe to toe, well, as he was freaking the fuck out, just lambasting everyone.
Yeah,
the hammer was cool.
Dude, head down, chilled, got his race through. And also his 200th podium, man. If you think about it,
there you go.
It's 10 full seasons where, like, you can do the math, like the actual math, like it's almost like 10 seasons
on the podium,
finishing every single race on the podium.
That's insane. Yeah, when you think about it, wow,
it's insane.
So what you think?
I fully understand. Like,
let me ask you this then: do you think by the end of his entire career, do you think he surpasses Schumacher?
In my opinion, he already did.
Yeah, he probably. It's one of those things. Schumacher was the greatest, but those records are broken, especially as just the science continues to propel the sport forward. It is what it is. Yeah, I think Lewis is at that point.
Yeah, because the question I'll have for you,
it is Hamilton, because number one, he has the most races won. Like, he broke nearly every single record. The only thing he's missing, he's tied with Schumacher, instead of winning his 8th title that was still stolen from him in 2021. We will never forget. And
You want to know why?
no,
though? I think it was stolen so he could win one with Ferrari.
Mhm. And that is
dude,
the true metric.
if he wins one at Ferrari, like hands down for me, he
Then
is
he is.
already. But I think most people will acknowledge him as the GOAT and the tribal
And
chief
that's
of
it.
Formula One.
Is that not really the true metric? If you can manage to make Ferrari win, you are great.
And then also, yeah, no, absolutely, that's no joke. But also winning a championship with every team he raced for, winning races with every team he raced for is incredible, man. But I'm sad to say it, but I think we're having right now 24 races per season, and it will get to 25, and dude, at some point we will get to 30 races within a season.
Bring back France, bring back Germany.
I'm sad to say it, but Verstappen will break all of Hamilton's records as well. I don't know if we will say that he's the GOAT, but yeah. But Verstappen will break those Hamilton records as well. I'm fearing.
Probably. It's only a matter of time. We'll see. The greats keep on coming. I bet you Oscar Piastri is going to break all those records.
Hopefully we will see. Hey, nobody expected Schumacher's records to be broken, but here's Hamilton, and he broke like every single one of it.
And nobody expected Ralph Schumacher to come out this weekend.
Hey, nobody expected that. It came absolutely out of the blue.
Oh, that was one of those.
Acknowledge me.
We had to slip that in somewhere.
And by the way, again, Hamilton being the only driver to talk about it and saying, "Dude, hey, Schumacher deserves credit for doing for doing that," and everybody else just stayed quiet. Like Hamilton is maybe that's also why people can sympathize with him, because he's not a PR machine, or I don't know, a guy that gets that the PR management feeds him with sentences that he just reiterates every single time. So
he is his own style, like it or not. I often dislike it because I don't know, it's not my thing, but he is his own man. I'll give him that much.
Are you pulling up the fantasy F1?
This is our fantasy F1. Yes, we haven't really recapped it. But I'm in 10th.
I'm in third, man, and the last look at my team, man, it's bad. It's bad. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Gasly.
It's better than mine.
That's why he hates.
Man, that's part of it, dude. 1 weekend ago, I had both McLarens in my team, where ironically Hamilton won the race, and then I switched to a full Mercedes lineup because I thought on a slow track like Hungary, the Mercedes will do great, and then Russell went out in Q1 already and completely.
Is KB's wife still beating you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, she's
beating everyone.
And he's on P2, dude. She's 700 points in front of me by now.
What's your team? She's got Russell and Piastri.
This is it. Russell, Piastri, Ricardo, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg with McLaren and Merc.
Dude, I should have just stuck with my McLaren lineup, man.
Does she have like F1 knowledge prior to this, or did
I don't know. I don't know, Dash. I don't know.
No, I think this is all beginner's luck, and we can all just go fuck ourselves.
So not me. I'm not participating, so it's not me.
So there's the league code. I have it up on
the
screen.
Proper first place.
But yeah, guys, if you want to get in, there's the code. Otherwise, get into the Discord. I will put the Discord QR code up. You can scan that to get in, or go down into the description where we continue to talk about F1 and footy and everything. We talk about everything, like Joe Biden stepping down, for instance. That was topic today. It was posted today. It was posted. I think it was KB that posted it. Actually,
I missed
you missed it. Dude, Dash, you're late on the news.
I'm late. The only thing I saw, well, I guess I was just busy. I guess the only thing I saw was Bonucci making fun of Chiesa, and
it's so ironic that it's Bonucci defending Juventus against Chiesa. Oh my!
It is pretty funny, actually. It's quite ironic.
I am
the hero that we neither deserved nor needed. Thank you, Bonucci.
Well, ironically now, because the meme that's going around now is we need as Joe Biden drops out of the race, we need Solo Sikoa to drop out of SummerSlam. So like now that's just becoming a meme all over the place.
Also, a big topic on the Discord is WWE for reasons unknown to me, but it is. It is what it is, guys. Get on in there.
We need to get Dave into a watch along on Discord again, so he can commentate on it.
Yeah, I'll definitely commentate.
I love the wrestling memes that they're using though for Joe Biden leaving, right? Because like there's the one I think I'm trying to see who it is. Is it? I think it's it's Zack Ryder in the wheelchair and the and that where they just cart him off the stage and throw him off.
I'm still waiting for the Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm not effing leaving.
Oh man, America! I don't know what's going on there, but
next race, Spa, one of the best tracks you can imagine for
one of the most iconic. It is, as they say, the longest track with the
most dangerous.
Dangerous, of course, Eau Rouge, but they say the longest track with the shortest name. So Spa is coming. It's about a minute 40 and change, 41, 42. To do that track. We're used to like a 115 to a 130. So nice long one before the summer break. That's going to be exciting. Now, I do want to point out, just because it might be a talking point, I'm very interested. We'll touch on this next week, but they are going to be putting cameras on the front wings. We mentioned earlier about the front wings of these cars, how flexy they are. Apparently, they're too flexy. They're going to be putting cameras on to see exactly how flexy they might be, in particular the top 4 teams. So that'd be Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes. They're checking them out. That could switch everything up if they determine that these are out of regulation or they change the regulation. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to get for the second half of the season?
Yeah. And by the way, they are doing that because they can then make a judgment in the summer break before the next race will happen in about a month, I believe. It's 3 weeks or 4 weeks break. So the FIA can monitor everything and make a ruling, and then we will see after the summer break, like which car profits, which car has disadvantage with rule changes. We will see.
Yeah, it will be interesting. So a big kind of crescendo coming into next weekend, because that will be the end of the first half, really, before the summer break of F1. And it's just before Serie A starts, before the footy season starts. So it's the calm before the storm, guys. So make sure to get all the content next weekend.
Yeah. Ironically, also, we do other content as well, footy content, which ironically, all the news is coming out today instead of yesterday when, we're actually doing a footy-based show. I'm peeved, though I'm not going to say that, the race wasn't entertaining and controversial at all, but, certain people making certain comments about certain individuals. And like, damn it, where was this when we needed it?
Gonna have to wait till Wednesday. The tinfoil hat show.
We will have to wait until Wednesday, where I get to, at this point, can we just rename the brand into the Making Fun of Chiesa show? Because this is
basically what it is.
What it is until he gets sold.
Yeah.
He is a content creator's dream. He is the gift that keeps on giving.
People were asking him for autographs on his wedding, man. So, dude, stop putting him on a pedestal. And by the way, nobody mentions that Dybala had a wedding at the same day.
I actually did see it. It was Dybala got married as well on Saturday.
Who?
Oh, yeah, Dybala. That Argentinian.
Anyway. Look, hey, it's interesting. I heard that kind of throw a little bit of a conspiracy theory there. So I heard that the players that were on the Euros could have extended their vacation to go to Chiesa's wedding, which all the Euro or international players did not. So,
all right, no, I go to Germany to training camp.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was. It was kind of ironic because Yildiz is still on vacation and he chose not to go. So no offense, Mr. Chiesa, nobody likes you.
All right, now the one people are wondering who are we talking about?
He is football's equivalent of Max Verstappen. Except Max actually wins. This guy doesn't.
You can compare him to Lance Stroll, maybe.
Yeah.
Entitled.
Yeah, I think so.
That fits. Yeah.
Yeah, Lance Stroll. He's Lance Stroll.
Yeah. like average player, like comparable to an average driver, entitled. Yeah, that works. Eastland Stroll.
That Daddy brought him up.
Oh, dude, the comparison
is a
works way better. Yep.
Yeah, well, that's a
All right,
classic
F1
video,
people.
Dave. All right,
Yeah,
F1
there's our crossover. Ed.
Stop by Wednesday. All right, folks. We shall catch you Belgium's next week, right? So we've got some waffles that we'll cover next week, and hopefully we get another shenanigan by Max, and we are going to keep entertaining you. Yeah. Any final thoughts before we go?
No, speaking of waffles, that's what we're at right now. So
yeah,
yep.
We're waffling.
McLaren, get your shit together. You're maybe in a title fight, man. Clean your mess up.
Yep. So obviously, Spotify folk, make sure you give it the old 5-star review. YouTube folk, like and subscribe, and we shall catch you in on the next one. And always remember, guys. Damn it! I messed up the sound.
Acknowledge me.
There we go. We'll see ya.